What if your cold feet have nothing to do with aging at all? What if everything you have been told about poor circulation, numb toes, and that constant aching heaviness in your legs is simply incomplete? Because right now, millions of people over 70 are going to bed every single night with feet so cold they cannot sleep, legs that feel weak and restless, and a tingling sensation that nobody seems to have a clear answer for. They are told it is just part of getting older. They are told to wear thicker socks. They are told to simply accept it. But what if that advice is wrong? What if there is a specific vitamin that plays a direct role in how well blood flows through your legs, how your nerves send signals to your feet, and how your blood vessels stay open and flexible enough to do their job properly? Today, we are talking about vitamin B3, also known as niacin, and the remarkable role it plays in circulation, nerve health, and vascular function in adults over 70. We will walk through the science in plain language, share real patient experiences, and give you a practical daily plan you can start using right away. Stay until the end, because what you are about to learn could completely change the way you think about your circulation and your comfort for years to come. If you enjoy simple health tips like this every week, subscribe and turn on notifications. It only takes a moment and helps you stay informed. To understand why niacin matters so much for people over 70, we first need to understand how circulation actually works inside your body. Think of your blood vessels as a vast network of highways. Some are wide and fast, like major freeways, and some are narrow and slow, like quiet side streets. Every single one of them has a job to do, and that job is to carry oxygen and nutrients to every corner of your body, including the very tips of your toes. When those highways are open, flexible, and working properly, blood flows freely. Your feet stay warm, your legs feel strong, your nerves receive the signals they need. You can walk without discomfort and sleep without that restless, crawling feeling in your lower legs. But when something interferes with that flow, everything downstream suffers. The feet are the furthest point from the heart, which means they are always the first to feel it when circulation slows down. Cold feet, numb toes, tingling that comes and goes, a heaviness in the legs after even short walks, and nighttime discomfort that makes sleep nearly impossible. These are not random inconveniences. They are signals your body is sending you, and niacin is one of the most important pieces of the puzzle that most people are never told about. Niacin, or vitamin B3, plays a central role in a process called vasodilation. This simply means the widening of blood vessels. When your blood vessels can open wider, more blood moves through them more easily. Niacin also supports the production of energy inside your cells, helps maintain the health of the inner lining of your blood vessels, and plays a critical role in nerve function. Your peripheral nerves, the ones that run through your legs and feet, depend on a consistent supply of nutrients and oxygen to function correctly. When niacin levels are low, those nerves become sluggish. They misfire. They create that tingling, that numbness, that uncomfortable buzzing that so many people over 70 know all too well. Here is what makes this especially important after the age of 70. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at absorbing certain vitamins from food. The digestive system slows down. Stomach acid decreases, which affects how nutrients are broken down and absorbed. Many older adults are also taking multiple medications, some of which can deplete specific vitamins without anyone mentioning it. The result is that a person can be eating reasonably well and still be significantly deficient in a vitamin like niacin without ever knowing it. And because the symptoms of niacin deficiency, including cold extremities, poor circulation, nerve discomfort, and low energy, are so easy to blame on aging, the real cause often goes unaddressed for years. And here is what most people never hear. Niacin does not just improve circulation passively, it actively helps your body manage cholesterol levels, reduce arterial stiffness, and support the endothelial cells that line every blood vessel in your body. When those cells are healthy and well-nourished, your blood vessels stay more flexible, respond better to changes in temperature and activity, and allow blood to reach even the smallest capillaries in your toes. This is the kind of information that can genuinely change how you approach your own health after 70. Now, let me tell you about Margaret Collins. Margaret is 78 years old and lives in a quiet neighborhood in Ohio. For nearly 6 years, she had been dealing with what she described as feet that felt like blocks of ice, no matter what she did. She wore thermal socks to bed every night. She kept an extra blanket folded at the foot of her mattress. She avoided tile floors in the morning because the cold that traveled up through her feet made her whole body ache. She had mentioned it to her doctor on a few occasions, and while she had been checked for circulation issues and prescribed a mild medication for blood pressure, nobody had ever looked closely at her nutritional status. Nobody had ever asked what she was eating, whether she was absorbing her vitamins, or whether her nerve discomfort might have a nutritional root. Margaret was also dealing with something she found harder to talk about, and that was fear. She had watched her older sister lose her ability to walk independently at 73, and she was terrified she was on the same path. The tingling in her feet had gotten more frequent. Her walking distance had shortened from what used to be a comfortable half-mile loop around her neighborhood to barely a quarter of that before her legs felt too heavy and uncomfortable to continue. She had stopped mentioning it to her family because she did not want to worry them. She had started to accept it as simply the way things were going to be from here on. The turning point came when Margaret's new doctor, during a thorough intake review, ordered a full nutritional panel along with standard blood work. The results were eye-opening. Margaret's niacin levels were significantly low. Her homocysteine levels, a marker tied to vascular health and nerve function, were also elevated, a pattern that frequently appears alongside B vitamin deficiencies in older adults. The doctor explained to her what niacin does in the body, how it supports blood vessel flexibility and nerve health, and why her symptoms made complete sense in that context. Margaret began increasing her dietary intake of niacin-rich foods and, under her doctor's supervision, added a B-complex supplement to her routine. She also made a few targeted changes to her daily habits, which we will talk about shortly. Over the following 3 months, the changes were gradual, but unmistakable. The icy coldness in her feet became less severe. She began walking further without the same heaviness in her legs. She slept better. She told her doctor that for the first time in years, she woke up in the morning without dreading putting her feet on the floor. In her own words, she said, "I had given up believing anything could make a difference. I am so grateful I did not stop looking for answers." But the story does not end there, because there is a powerful myth surrounding cold feet and circulation that needs to be addressed directly. The myth is this: cold feet and poor circulation are simply a normal and unavoidable part of getting older, and once they start, there is nothing meaningful that can be done without major medical intervention. This belief is widespread. It is repeated in waiting rooms and family conversations and casual medical visits every single day, and it is not entirely accurate. Research published in journals focusing on vascular medicine and nutritional science has consistently shown that nutritional status plays a measurable role in peripheral circulation and nerve function across all age groups, including adults well into their 80s. A study examining the relationship between niacin levels and endothelial function found that adequate niacin intake was associated with better vascular flexibility and improved blood flow markers in older adults. Another body of research has highlighted the connection between low B vitamin levels and peripheral neuropathy symptoms, which include exactly the tingling, numbness, and temperature sensitivity that so many people over 70 experience in their legs and feet. What is particularly striking is that many people dealing with these symptoms are focused on the wrong level of the problem. They are buying special socks, using heating pads, avoiding cold floors, and managing the discomfort day by day without addressing the underlying nutritional and vascular environment that is driving those symptoms. It is like trying to drive faster by cleaning the outside of the car while ignoring that the fuel line is partially blocked. The surface solutions help a little, but they do not reach the real issue. And here is what most people overlook. Improving your nutritional status is not a dramatic or complicated process. It is often surprisingly accessible, and the results can begin to appear within weeks. So let us talk about exactly how to do this right. The most direct way to support your niacin levels is through food. Niacin is found in meaningful amounts in several everyday foods. Chicken breast is one of the richest sources, providing roughly 14 to 17 milligrams per 3-ounce serving, which covers most of an adult's daily recommended intake in a single portion. Tuna, whether canned or fresh, is another excellent source. Salmon provides niacin alongside beneficial omega-3 fats that also support vascular health. Turkey, lean beef, and pork tenderloin are also solid options. For those who prefer plant-based sources, peanuts and peanut butter contain useful amounts of niacin, as do brown rice, whole wheat bread, mushrooms, especially portobello and cremini varieties, and sunflower seeds. Timing and preparation matter as well. Because niacin is water-soluble, it can leach out during cooking if you boil meats or vegetables for extended periods. Grilling, baking, or lightly steaming your proteins and vegetables helps preserve more of the vitamin content. Spreading your intake across meals throughout the day is more effective than trying to get everything from one large meal, especially since absorption efficiency tends to decrease when large amounts are consumed at once. It is also important to support your niacin-rich diet with habits that improve circulation directly. Gentle daily walking, even 10 to 15 minutes in the morning and again in the afternoon, encourages blood flow through the peripheral vessels in your legs and feet. If walking is uncomfortable, simple seated ankle rotations, foot pumps, and calf raises done while sitting down can help activate the muscle pump in your lower legs that assists blood return toward the heart. Staying well hydrated is critical because blood becomes more viscous and flows less freely when you are even mildly dehydrated. A goal of 6 to 8 glasses of water spread throughout the day supports healthy blood volume and flow. Avoid prolonged sitting without movement, as this allows blood to pool in the lower legs and feet, which worsens circulation and contributes to that heavy, uncomfortable feeling. If your day involves a lot of sitting, set a reminder to get up and move briefly every 45 minutes to an hour. Tell me in the comments, do your feet feel colder during the day or at night? Your answer actually tells us something important about what might be driving your circulation patterns. Now I want to share another experience, this time from a man named Robert Simmons, who is 74 years old and retired from 30 years of working in logistics management in Georgia. Robert's situation was a little different from Margaret's. His primary complaint was not just cold feet, but a profound fatigue and weakness in his legs that made him feel years older than he was. He had always been active. He had been a weekend golfer and a daily walker until about 2 years before, when his legs began to feel like they were filled with sand after even short distances. He described it as feeling like he was wading through water just to get to the end of the block. Robert had also started noticing a faint but persistent tingling on the soles of his feet, particularly at night when he lay down to rest. He had assumed it was related to his blood pressure medication, which his doctor had started 18 months earlier, and he had never mentioned it because he did not want to complicate his care. This was the mistake. Many blood pressure medications, particularly certain diuretics and ACE inhibitors, can affect how the body retains and uses B vitamins. Over time, without anyone addressing his nutritional status, Robert's niacin and overall B vitamin levels had quietly dropped below optimal range. When a nutritional review was finally done, the findings aligned closely with his symptoms. Robert's doctor recommended targeted dietary changes and a supervised B-complex supplementation protocol. Within 6 weeks, Robert noticed his walking endurance beginning to recover. Within 3 months, he had returned to his morning walk and was completing his favorite loop around the neighborhood park without stopping. The tingling at night became significantly less frequent. He said simply and without exaggeration, "I feel like I got a piece of my life back." With that in mind, let us build a practical daily plan you can use to support circulation, nerve health, and vascular comfort starting today. In the morning, begin with a breakfast that combines a good protein source with a whole grain. 2 eggs with whole wheat toast and a handful of mushrooms, sautéed lightly in olive oil, provides niacin, B vitamins, and a small amount of healthy fat that supports nutrient absorption. Follow breakfast with a full glass of water. This is also a good time for a gentle 10-minute walk if your morning allows it. For your midday meal, aim for a palm-sized portion of a niacin-rich protein such as chicken, tuna, or salmon, paired with a vegetable and either brown rice or a slice of whole grain bread. A small handful of peanuts or sunflower seeds alongside your lunch adds additional niacin without adding complexity. Keep a glass of water nearby and sip throughout your meal rather than saving all your hydration for after. In the late afternoon, a light snack of peanut butter on whole grain crackers or a small portion of mixed nuts supports steady nutrient availability between meals. This is also a good time for a second brief movement session, even 5 to 10 minutes of walking or seated leg exercises. Dinner works well as your second main protein meal of the day. Turkey, lean beef, or another serving of fish alongside roasted vegetables and a small portion of whole grain or legumes rounds out your daily niacin intake naturally. If you feel like your appetite is smaller in the evening, a lighter dinner with a warm, low-sodium soup that includes chicken or legumes works equally well. If you need more support beyond diet, your doctor can help you assess whether a B-complex supplement is appropriate for your situation and at what dose. Before we close, there is an important conversation we need to have about medications. If you are currently taking blood pressure medications, blood thinners such as warfarin or aspirin therapy, diabetes medications, or any prescription related to circulation or heart health, please do not make significant dietary changes or add any supplements without speaking to your personal doctor first. Niacin, particularly in supplement form at higher doses, can interact with certain medications. It can temporarily affect blood pressure, blood sugar levels, and the way some medications are processed in the body. These interactions are not usually dangerous when managed properly, but your doctor needs to know about any changes you are making. This is not meant to discourage you. Most people find that their doctors are supportive of dietary improvements and appreciate being informed. The goal is simply to make sure your overall care plan is coordinated and that no one is working with incomplete information. Talk to your personal doctor before changing your diet, supplements, or medications. This is not usually dangerous, but your doctor should be aware of any changes. As we come to the end of today's video, I want you to hold on to one central idea. Poor circulation is not always an unavoidable part of aging. Cold feet, tingling, leg weakness, and reduced walking endurance are not simply the price of getting older. For many people, they are symptoms of something specific and addressable, something that has been overlooked not out of negligence, but simply because the connection between nutritional status and vascular health is not discussed as often as it should be. Margaret told us she had given up believing anything could make a difference. Robert said he felt like he got a piece of his life back. Their experiences are not unique. They reflect what happens when the right information reaches the right person at the right time. You are not too old for change. Your blood vessels are not set in stone. Your nerves are still capable of receiving better support. The circulation you experience today does not have to be the circulation you experience a year from now. Your body is still capable of change. Sometimes it simply needs the right support and the right information. If this video helped you see your situation in a new way, please subscribe so you do not miss future videos like this one. Leave a comment below telling me whether your feet are colder during the day or at night, because your community here is reading, and I read every response. Share this with someone you care about who might be dealing with the same thing silently. And if you found this valuable, a like helps more people find it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. Always consult your personal doctor before making any changes to your diet, supplements, or treatment plan.